Man, what a show it was. What a show it was. Peace, everybody. You already know it's Hitman Cause. And please welcome to your official Money in the Bank review. And of course, I'm not alone in this endeavor. Welcome, as always, the co-host, the humble man, Gary. Gary, welcome to the contracts.
Yo. What's good, my man? Cross Payton. What's good, my man? Cross Payton.
Ain't shit, man. Ready to get into this?
Hell yeah, let's do this shit like Brutus.
All right. Well, first off, we had the Money in the Bank, the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. I thought it was real good to start off with one of the Money in the Bank matches. If I'm being honest,
Oh yeah.
And it definitely helped everybody get into the rest of the pay-per-view.
Yeah, that's right.
But anyways, it was Damian Priest versus Butch versus LA Knight versus Logan Paul versus Ricochet versus Santos Escobar versus Shinsuke Nakamura. And man, oh man, this match once again did not disappoint.
That's right.
There was crazy spots galore, man.
That's a fact. It was. It really was. Oh my lord.
And and I tell you what, in my opinion, he's already proven himself to me. But if Logan Paul needed to further prove himself to anybody, he's definitely proved it here. Because once again, he was taking crazy risks and crazy stunts.
Right.
And also before I continued, there was something that when they were cutting promos on each other, there was something Ricochet said that made me laugh. In which he said that Logan Paul went viral because of him. Ricochet, I have to break it to you, but you went viral because of him.
Oh shit.
Freaking Logan Paul can generate more views than you ever could. So regardless of what moments you guys had at the Rumble, Logan made you big.
Oh wow.
So, but anyways, speaking of Logan Paul, he had a pretty dope moment where he hit a frog splash on top of both Damian Priest and Santos Escobar through a ladder. And here's the thing, the ladder didn't break. And in my opinion, that's a lot more brutal. Like, if you perform an aerial move onto an opponent while they're on top of a ladder or table or any piece of furniture, and the piece of furniture does not break, it hurts a lot more than it breaking. Because in my opinion, when the thing breaks, for me, it breaks their fall. It cushions their fall.
Right.
But when it doesn't give way, you just take double the impact. Because you take the impact of the person's weight landing onto you, and then you take the impact of whatever you're on. And for a ladder, it's even worse.
Right.
And then, then we had another great moment where the man Butch got to a very high rung of the ladder, not the top, but a very high rung of the ladder, and hit a picture perfect moonsault onto everybody except for Logan Paul.
Right, exactly.
That's one thing. Actually, during that moment, I thought Logan Paul was gonna win there because he was the only one that didn't get hit. Because he was on the other side of the ring, whereas they were outside the ring on one side.
Right.
And then, of course, they had the usual multiple ladders set up and then hitting each other and knocking off the ladder spot. And then with one of the moments, actually, pretty much one close to the closing moments of the match, Logan Paul and Ricochet were on top of the ladder, to which LA Knight pulled up and was trying to knock them off. First, he tried to knock one of them off at a time, to which they both kicked him off. To which then he just did what he should have done in the first place, was push the ladder. So, and to which then, when he pushed the ladder, Ricochet and Paul tried to catch themselves. They slipped a little on the ladder, but they managed to gather themselves and hit a Spanish fly through a table. I'll admit it was botchy. It wasn't pretty, but it was awesome.
That's a fact.
And once again, Logan Paul further proving himself and earning his stripes, even though I felt that he's already proved himself and earned his stripes. But you get the point. Freaking going through with a spot like that, even taking the spot, even though, despite how bad the botch could have been for him, because he landed on the back of his head.
Right.
And then also, I think he either split open a part of his shoulder blade, or something, or maybe his ear or something, because his shoulder was bleeding by the time the camera was on him at the end of the match.
That's right.
Then, in the closing moments of the match, it looked as if everyone's pick, LA Knight, was gonna win, but then Damian Priest met him at the top of the ladder and caught him tried to catch him with a Super Falcon Arrow off the ladder. Now, it wasn't pretty, but once again, it was but it was effective. And with that, Damian Priest is now Mr. Money in the Bank, or as he calls himself, Senor Money in the Bank.
Yes.
Now, before we continue with this, that him calling himself that reminds me of Alberto Del Rio, where when he won Money in the Bank, instead of just Senor Money in the Bank, he was known as Senor Dinero and El Banco, which is Mr. Money in the Bank in Spanish.
Right.
But anyways, I understand, people were upset that LA Knight didn't win, but at the same time, we can't sit here and act like Damian Priest did not deserve this, because after the role that he's been on, and we've been saying it for the past few contracts, that he's been on another level.
Exactly.
So we're not gonna sit here and act like he ain't deserve it. Like, sure, it's LA Knight's time to shine, but we ain't gonna act like it ain't Priest's time to shine as well.
Exactly.
So congrats to Damian Priest. He showed out. He definitely deserves it. I hope he cashes in successfully.
Me too.
Cause I'm tired of the male Money in the Bank winners, not cashing in successfully.
Exactly.
Freaking, for me, just kills the whole concept of the Money in the Bank briefcase.
That's a fact. That is right. I agree.
Yeah. Moving on, we had Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. This match was alright. I'll be honest, the only reason why I cared about this match is because of Shayna Baszler. But that's just me.
I got you. The match that I see, the match was alright. Yeah, it was. Well, I'm glad living. I'm glad.
Hold up. Wait. Don't say that part just yet.
Okay.
But I definitely enjoyed this spot where both Rousey and Baszler had Liv Morgan in a submission together. It reminded me of the triple threat match between Steve Austin, Chris Jericho, and Chris Benoit, where at the same time, Steve Austin was locked in the walls and locked in the crossface.
Oh yeah, remember that.
And he did tap, but because it was a triple threat match, a winner couldn't be decided.
Exactly.
And anyways, towards the end of the match, it looked as if Rousey and Baszler were gonna retain, because Raquel, she had been she was subdued. So and Liv Morgan was pretty much dead to rights once Baszler tagged in Rousey. Rousey was about to finish her off and pummel her. That is until Shayna Baszler pulled off, in my opinion, one of the more shocking heel turns. I mean, not heel turn. There's the shocking turns where she turned on Ronda Rousey, putting her in the careful clutch before throwing her down and walking out.
Yes.
To which then Liv picked up the scraps to win the match and win the titles. I'll be honest, I was disappointed that they aren't champs, but looking at the bigger picture of what it's gonna lead to, I'm not that upset anymore. But now you can say what you were saying.
Yeah, I was gonna say that I wanted either my girl Raquel or my girl Liz to get it, or my girls Ronda, my girl Shayna to retain it. So I'm glad my girls Raquel and my girls Liz got it back. But the heel turn from Shayna was, oh my god.
Actually, I made a mistake when I said heel turn. That's why I corrected myself, because
I mean the turn that she meant. I meant
yeah,
she made.
Yeah, because the thing is, even though I'm a fan of Ronda Rousey, pretty much always have been since her first heel turn. I'm not gonna sit here and not act like I can't read the room, to which I can. She's generated a lot of heat and made a lot of enemies among the IWC, and because of that, tons of people don't like Ronda Rousey, which is why it's only natural. Which is why it was only natural to make her a heel upon coming back.
Exactly.
So, with that being said, in order for this feud to work going into SummerSlam, Rousey has to stay heel and Shayna has to be the face.
That is correct.
And honestly, right now, it's really not that hard, just because just as long as Ronda, they don't try and get her to act like a face, Shayna will get cheered.
Exactly.
And actually, for like 2 seconds, Shayna was a face at one point when she was feuding with Nia Jax when they were still in the Thunderdome, but that didn't last long.
Oh wow!
I think it was because Nia got released, or so. No. It was long before that. Something happened. That's not important. Anyways, yeah. So,
right.
I fully expect Rousey and Baszler's match at SummerSlam to be dope. The crowd's gonna be firmly in Shayna's corner. And and for me, if Shayna wins that match, it'll be just what she needs to get back to her killer ways from NXT.
That's a fact.
I mean, don't get me wrong. The Rousey and Baszler together were killers, but but they were still, in my opinion, a little cowardly, which was making both of them look bad.
Oh no, I got you perfectly.
But now with them as singles competitors again, this will do wonders for both of them, especially Shayna.
Oh yeah.
The reason why I say especially Shayna, because she needs to look better than what she has. Because compared to where she was from NXT, Vince has made her fall off so hard. It sickens me.
I ain't gonna debate you there. I won't debate you there for real. I agree with you more than 1,000% on that.
Yeah. And
for real.
Yeah. And I'll say this. No offense to Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, but come on now, let's be honest. They weren't going to win that match if Shayna didn't turn on Ronda.
Yeah, that is correct.
Because Ronda was literally going to finish her off.
That's correct.
And honestly, I really don't care for them as a team. I mean, I don't mind Morgan and Rodriguez as a team, but at the same time, I don't care for them. So with them as the tag champs, I'm pretty much ignoring them until they face a team that I'll give a fuck about.
Got you.
And Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green ain't one of them. Just because they don't, in my opinion, they don't have enough wins to be credible.
Oh wow.
But they did take a step in the right direction when they won that tag team turmoil when they were the first team. So I will give them that.
Most definitely.
Because they were the first team in that tag team turmoil and they went all the way. So that's already a step in the right direction.
Correct.
Anyway, moving on, we had going to defend the Intercontinental Championship against Matt Riddle. Once again, what is there more to be said about Gunther? He has, in my opinion, he is doing for the Intercontinental title what The Miz did. And that's
right.
And that's building the prestige, bringing it back to prominence, giving people a reason to care about the title.
Oh yes.
And this match, once again, is no exception. Absolutely superb by both men. Take nothing away from Riddle. He brought his A game. Even on a bad wheel, he gave it 110%.
That's a fact, he did.
And then also to Gunther's credit, Giovanni Vinci and Ludwig Kaiser were not ringside, so he did win this clean. He did not cheat. He didn't mess with the refs or nothing. He didn't do it. He did it by the book. And once again did his job as he wants to do with Imperium and make the match sacred.
Right.
And the closing moments of the match was pretty dope, where Riddle tried to kick him, but then he caught his foot, and then he started chopping his foot.
Yes.
And like when he kept chopping it so fast and crazy, I'm like, God damn, man. If that were me, I would not be able to walk for a good minute. But he was chopping it just to weaken his foot good enough, even though it was still a little bad. He needed it weakened good enough, and then he hooked him in a grapevine ankle lock. And you've seen when Kurt Angle does the grapevine ankle lock, it's damn near impossible to break out of it. Actually, no, you can't break out of it. It's almost impossible to get to the ropes.
Exactly.
Like honestly, whenever Kurt grapevines the ankle lock, there's only one person I've ever seen that was able to make it to the ropes, and EC3. And that was back when they were both in Impact.
Oh yeah.
But anyways, Riddle was trapped in the ankle lock, and with all the damage that his ankle took, he couldn't take any more, and he tapped.
That's right.
And while Gunther was once again celebrating another glorious title defense, we were blessed by a returning Drew McIntyre.
Hell yeah, we were.
This put to bed all the rumors of him being frustrated and whatnot. Of course, I didn't believe a single rumor just for the fact that I knew that he was injured. So like out of here, the fuck out of here with that,
Exactly.
And it's obvious that he has his eyes on the IC title now. from what it looks like he more than likely is going to be the one to defeat Gunther to take the IC title.
That's a fact. I would want either one to win. Either he gets it from Gunther or Gunther retains. I mean, I want either one, but I don't know if they're gonna let that happen because they want Gunther to break Honky Tonk's man record, which is December.
I mean, I would love for him to do that, and if he was to lose to Drew, it would suck. Just because Gunther, right now, he could do no wrong with that title. He's been wonderful as IC champ.
Oh yeah.
So I hope that when he faces Drew, not only does he win, I hope that he wins clean, so that it once again puts another notch in Gunther's belt and puts him in the upper echelons of the Intercontinental Champions, if not make him the greatest one ever.
Exactly.
Moving on, we had Cody Rhodes versus Dominic Mysterio. I'll be honest, I was pretty disappointed in this match. I really wish they had Dominic put up more of a fight, but he was made to look extremely weak and very outclassed in this match.
Oh yeah.
Because pretty much any time he could gain any offense was because Rhea interfered, and even then with that, you know, he didn't get much offense in, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
And I know he's supposed to be a cowardly heel, but he still should at least look like a threat in the match, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
So this match really disappointed me. And Cody won, you know, very, very disappointing.
I got you.
Moving on, we had the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Io Sky versus Bayley versus Becky Lynch versus Trish Stratus versus Zelina Vega versus Zoe Stark. Now, first off, let me start by saying this women's Money in the Bank ladder match was way better than last year's.
Oh yeah.
There was a lot less botchy spots. They didn't look sloppy as hell in the ring. When the stunts were pulled, they looked good. They didn't look like cheap spots. They weren't whack ass spots. They weren't sorry ass spots either.
Oh yeah.
With that being said, you know, let's talk about them. You know, at first I thought when Becky hit the manhandle slam on the ladder, at first I thought it was whack because I think she hit Zoe with it. When doing it, she didn't. Zoe didn't get that high up in the air, so it didn't look as impactful. But I think even still, you know, looking back at it, it was still a good spot.
Exactly.
I mean, for me, it still could have been better, but I still thought it was good. Maybe if like, I mean, she didn't have to go through it, but maybe if like they were on maybe a little higher elevated surface, maybe if they put the steel steps on top of it and then put her through it, it would have looked better. Who knows?
All right.
And then when Zelina Vega hit the code red onto, I'm trying to think who she hit it with. I think she hit Bayley with it.
All right.
Hit the code red onto Bayley onto the ladder. That was a wonderful spot.
Oh yeah.
And then who could forget the best spot, which more than made up for Becky Lynch's crappy spot last year. Was Io Sky getting to almost the top of the ladder, hitting a picture perfect moonsault. Better than Butch's, no offense to him, but hitting a picture perfect moonsault onto everybody from almost the top of the ladder.
Almost top of the ladder.
Very wonderful job by everybody. And then the closer moments of the match, I thought, well, this was pretty interesting.
Oh, word.
Where Becky Lynch and Bayley were fighting towards the top of the ladder.
Right.
And I actually hold it before then. It looked like Io Sky was going to win, but then, of all people, Bayley pushed her off the ladder.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, but anyways, back to what I was saying. You know, Becky Lynch and Bayley were almost at the top of the ladder, but then Io did something that I thought was pretty clever, because earlier in the match, Zoe Stark handcuffed one of Becky's wrists.
Right.
To which then the other one was free. So then Bayley was climbing the ladder, to which then Becky used the open part of the handcuff and put it inside Becky's mouth on some gruesome shit.
Yeah, yo, that was, oh my god.
I mean, honestly, that shit reminded me of when Randy Orton and Jeff Hardy had a Hell in a Cell match, and freaking and Randy Orton put a screwdriver through the hole in Jeff Hardy's ear gauge, and was pulling at it and twisting at it. Oh man, that was nasty.
Yeah, that's a fact.
But I love it. But anyways, as they were fighting towards the top of the ladder, Io Sky came by, put their hands through the ladder, and then handcuffed Bayley's hand with Becky's. So now they were trapped they were trapped with their hands through the ladder. So now, with them trapped and nowhere to go, Io climbed to the top and grabbed the briefcase to win the match.
And that was one of the most smartest things ever.
Yeah. Now, first off, congratulations to Io Sky, but I could not help but laugh at Becky and Bayley. Imagine, someone winning like that, but then while the camera's pointing at the winner, the camera's also on you because you're stuck on the ladder, handcuffed, while they're still already with the briefcase in their hand, and all they can do is just look up, look to the side, and looking awkward as hell. Oh, I'd be sick. That shit was so hilarious. Feel me?
Where it was hot, it was hilarious. It really was.
Like, especially with this look that Becky had, she was like, "Man, I swear, I'm still stuck to this damn ladder, and fucking lost this match." And then having her arguing with Bayley while they're still stuck there, just made it all the more funny.
Right.
It's like one of those cartoons where like two people that hate each other are trapped with those finger cuffs.
Exactly.
But once again, congrats to Io Sky. Very happy. We're very happy she won. She was the most deserving, in my opinion. Even though part of me still wanted Zoe Stark to win, but still, congrats to Io Sky. Personally, I want her to cash in on either Asuka, Charlotte, or Bianca, depending on whoever wins that match. Because I want Rhea to keep her title.
Yeah, me too.
Moving on, we have Seth freaking Rollins versus Finn Balor for the world title. And I tell you what, man, Finn Balor had to be inspired by Damian Priest because he was on another level for this whole feud. Because ever since, he earned the shot, he was constantly attacking Seth relentlessly with tons of sneak attacks, tons of coup de grace, just pummeling him every chance he got.
Hell yeah, man. That match was one of the best.
Yeah. And he wanted this. You could tell he wanted it so badly. and you know, Seth wanted to point an emphasis saying that he got better while Finn got bitter, to which Finn countered saying that Seth made him bitter. Because when it came to replaying when he had to give up the Universal title, I noticed something that I completely forgot about.
What was that?
That was when Finn Balor was walking back up the ramp. Seth Rollins came out and he was laughing at Finn Balor.
Oh yes.
I completely forgot about that.
Well, yeah.
So you know, so Finn obviously didn't forget about that. That honestly, that reminds me of when Randy Orton was in a feud with Triple H, and basically one of the biggest things was that Randy Orton was holding a grudge from back when he got kicked out of Evolution. Triple H was jealous that he was the World Heavyweight Champ.
Yes.
To which
Good way to put it.
To which Randy never forgot that day, and that was his biggest fuel behind the feud. So
exactly.
So I feel that was the. So I feel that Finn's anger with Seth was much like that.
Right. Exactly.
And in this match, he absolutely brought everything, and I can honestly say that he was gonna win this match, but Senior Money in the Bank Damian Priest pulled up, to which it got them both looking, because Finn and Damian were already at a bit of odds, because a few weeks prior, if you remember, Finn asked Damian Priest that if he won the Money in the Bank ladder match and he won the world title, was he going to cash in on him? And Damian said yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Then, to which then, they already had them looking. Then, in the closing moments of the match, because keep in mind, when Damian Priest was ringside, he didn't do anything. He was just watching the match. But then, in the closing moments of the match, Finn was clearly gonna win. Was clearly about to go in for the kill to win the match. But then, Damian Priest stepped forward towards the ring, to which it immediately got Finn's attention, and then that caused him to get distracted. Seth hit the curb stomp. Actually, no, wait a minute. Yeah, Seth hit the curb stomp to win the match, and then after that, freaking Finn and Damian began arguing like crazy.
Yeah, man, they did. But for them winning the money, for Damian winning the Money in the Bank, I like it. It's interesting because it gives more of a rift than what's going to be going on at Judgment Day, because they're on the verge of breaking up after you can't see the crowd. So
yeah, and honestly, I think Seth is the biggest reason that they. Honestly, as far as it looks like, Judgment Day isn't gonna break them entirely. It's either Finn or Damian that's gonna be kicked out of the group, because Rhea and Dominic are still firmly within the group. And the thing is, Rhea and Dominic are cool with both Finn and Damian. It's just one of them is gonna get kicked out because they're not cool with each other, but they're cool with Dominic and Rhea. So one of them is eventually gonna go.
Exactly.
Actually, either one of them is gonna go if they don't get this shit solved.
That's right.
And personally, I want them to get it together, because I don't want either one of them breaking off on the Judgment Day.
That's me either.
But considering how they're acting, I think it's gonna be Priest.
Yeah, I think so too, or Balor.
Nah, I think for me, Finn has to stay heel.
Right.
Just cause.
Well, I just read rumor article that he's probably gonna be going back to face.
So, I mean, I want him to stay as a heel because as a face, like when he was a face leading up to him joining the Judgment Day, it was hard for me to care about him because they weren't having him doing much.
Exactly.
So as a heel, and still being a part of the Judgment Day, he's doing something.
Exactly.
But we'll see in the coming weeks or months.
Yeah.
Moving on, we had the main event: the Usos versus Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa.
Yes, that makes sense. Was good.
The Anoa'i family has to be upset. Having their family beefing with each other.
Right.
But one could argue that it's all Roman's fault from the way he's treated all of them. And finally the Usos have seen the light, and they're tired of their cousin treating them like this. But at the same time, I know they also have to be hurting so badly inside because they still love Roman. But
right.
But for him, they can't be by his side because he's like this.
Right.
And then it has to hurt them even more that their own little brother is still with him.
Exactly.
But anyway, this match was great. As usual, for me, the storytelling as usual took over the match.
That's a fact. It was a good ass match.
For me, the storytelling took over the match. With them constantly yelling at each other.
Oh yeah.
Just letting the story pan out in front of us. And then, as usual, per any Roman Reigns match, there was a ref bump, and at first it looked as if Roman and Solo were gonna win, because they tried to hit a move on him, to which Roman speared both of them, and then Solo stacked them up on top of each other, but they kicked out.
Exactly.
And Roman looked distraught.
Yeah,
he didn't know what to do. And for the first time, if you were paying attention to Solo, he couldn't believe how Roman was acting.
Exactly.
Until he got Roman to snap out of it.
That's right.
And then they began beating him down. And then he took down Jey Uso, and then tried to pin him, which Jey kicked out, but he returned the favor from 3 years ago, in which when Roman pinned him, when he pinned Roman kicked out, but when he kicked out, he low blowed him, and
exactly.
then to which Jey Uso returned the favor 3 years later and did this and paid him back and low blowed him.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Then they took out Solo, and then the Usos hit a double super kick onto Roman. Then Jey hit a super fly splash to do for 3 years what no one else except for Baron Corbin could do, and it was pin Roman Reigns to win the match.
That's a fact.
Yeah, this match was great. I mean, for me, being a big fan of Corbin, it sucks that he no longer holds that distinction of being the only person to being the last person to pin Roman. But again, I'm looking at the bigger picture, especially since he's the lone wolf again.
Right.
But honestly, this made the most sense for Jey to pin Roman rather than Jimmy, because this whole thing with the bloodline, for like the whole 3 years, Jey was the focal point.
That's the fact.
I don't care how many titles that Roman has. This whole thing with the bloodline was all about Jay.
I get what you're saying.
And I guarantee you that if Roman, well, no, correction, when Roman finally defends his title, because it's been so long, he will be defending his title against Jey Uso, and this time, unlike 3 years ago when they feuded, Jay will win.
I mean, I want either one of me. We'll see.
I mean, for me, right now it only makes sense for Jay to win. Because, like I said, it's been this whole thing was all about him. Main event Jey Uso.
Right.
But, overall, this pay-per-view was great. Absolutely,
Yeah, it was.
absolutely great. Last year cannot measure up at all.
Right. That's a fact.
This could not compete. As I said before, women's Money in the Bank match much better than it was last year.
Oh, yeah. I feel like it was much better than the men's this year too.
Yeah, sort of. I thought they were both a bit. I thought they were about even, but I definitely see where you're coming from.
Right.
But yeah. With that being said, that's gonna do it for this episode of Contracts. I definitely want to thank each and every one of y'all for taking it. Actually, no, wait, hold up. There was one last thing we forgot. Is that before the before what's his face? Before the world title match, we had a surprise appearance by John Cena.
Oh yeah.
And to which, he was obviously there just to kill time and help everybody prepare for the world title match and whatnot.
Right.
And to which he proposed something that is a pretty good idea, which is London or the UK period hosting WrestleMania. And I think it's a great idea. I mean, they've hosted pay-per-views in the past, so I think it's about time they've hosted WrestleMania.
Exactly.
And then also with that, Grayson Waller came out, and from the looks of it, he's finally healed from his injury.
Oh yeah.
And like for those of y'all that didn't know, why he was constantly doing the Grayson Waller effect without having any matches on SmackDown, yeah, he's been injured, so so they were doing that just to keep him relevant, and so he wouldn't be forgot about.
Right. Can't never forget about my boy. Can never forget about my boy John Cena.
No. I meant Grayson Waller.
I mean Grayson Waller. Oh yeah, Grayson Waller can't get forgotten about. Oh nah.
Yeah. And towards then Grayson Waller also proposed another idea that I thought was also great, which was Australia hosting WrestleMania.
Right.
And I'll say this. I say we do London first, and then the following year do Australia.
Right. You good.
But also, before we end this off, there's something I gotta say about Grayson Waller. And somebody said this a while back. I didn't want to believe it, but honestly, it's looking glaringly obvious now. Triple H has tried with Austin Theory. He's tried, but his reign as U.S. champ, this isn't working. Austin Theory, his reign as United States champion.
It's crap.
I said it's not working.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on. Austin Theory, great talent, so I don't know what the hell's going on.
I mean, he was on the right track when he beat John Cena and beating everybody else. And I'm not gonna say it's him with the way he won because he's a heel. You know, you expect heels to win in a cowardly way like that. But it's the fact that, you know, his lack of promos and lack of him being on TV, period, has really soured this reign, which is why I feel that this isn't working.
Right, exactly.
And Triple H just tried, but, you know, this just isn't working. And the reason why I'm tying this to Grayson Waller is because, I honestly believe this now, is that Grayson Waller is what WWE wants Austin Theory to be.
Yes.
Like in ring wise, they're both about equal. Both very great in the ring, but charisma wise, mic wise, Waller's better.
Than Theory?
Yeah, better than Theory.
Oh, I ain't gonna debate you there. I happen to like Waller a bit, so I ain't gonna debate you there.
And you know, in a way, he was the Miz for NXT.
Right.
And especially with the amount of heat that he was able to draw.
Exactly.
So that's why I definitely agree that Grayson Waller, he's pretty much everything that WWE that management wanted Austin Theory to be.
Right.
So
Exactly.
So when the title is finally off of Austin Theory and Grayson Waller is finally healed from his injury, they're more than likely gonna build him up, and then he's gonna flourish.
Oh yeah, exactly.
But on that note, we're officially gonna end it here. I definitely want to thank each and every one of y'all for taking the time out of your busy schedule to come and rock with us. I definitely want to thank the humble man, as usual, for coming through and kicking his wrestling knowledge.
Yes, my man Cos Payne. You already know we'll be right back at y'all with the contracts for the predictions for NXT Great American Bash and the results for NXT American Bash, and we'll be right back at y'all with the predictions for SummerSlam and for the results for SummerSlam. And we're going to be busy back-to-back weeks with the contracts, because as I just mentioned, the NXT Great American Bash, as you know, that's July 30th. So we're going to have to do the contracts either on the 26th or the 27th. All right, and then, you know, that same week of Backlash, days after, we're gonna have to do the contracts for SummerSlam, and we're gonna have to do the results that week of Great American Bash. We're gonna have to do the results for NXT Great American Bash either on the 31st or the 1st or the 2nd or the 3rd. At one of those same dates, we're gonna have to do the contracts for the predictions for SummerSlam, and then the week after, and then that week after, we're just gonna do the results for, and then August 6th, we're gonna be doing the results for the contracts and the results for SummerSlam. So we're gonna be busy hitting y'all back to back.
Yeah, you know how it is.
Facts.
So, if y'all enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit the like button. Comment if you feel like it. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new video. And until next time, by way of Struggle Vision Productions, it's the Hitman and the Humble Man, and we out. Peace.
Peace. We out this bitch later.